Hey everyone, it's Miss Berry, and I am here for one final video for the school year. I wanted to do a quick update on youth employment certificates, also known as workers permits. The state did just do a change on how those operate, so I wanted to keep you and families and parents up to date, just so you know how the process works moving forward. For any students who are under the age of 18, you do have to have a youth employment certificate in order to work. And so real quick, I am going to pull my screen up so you can see the process of the new permit and how that works. And then I'm also going to show you the website again, so that way you can see how that new process looks on the website. All right, so first, this is a document that was shared with me on how the new process for obtaining a youth employment certificate looks like. So how this works is the youth or your child will enter their information into the system, and I'll show you what that link looks like once I get to the website. Once they enter their information into the system will generate a unique ID for the youth that can be used for multiple employers. So that means if they're trying to get more than one part-time job, they would share this ID that they get from the system to each employer that they are planning to work for, instead of creating a new workers permit for each job. So they're trying to kind of simplify the process and to be able to better manage their system for youth employment. Once they get that unique ID after creating their account, they will then need to provide their employer with this ID. So if they're getting a job at Food Lion or Walmart or Target or wherever it might be, once they create their ID, they would then share that with Food Lion or whoever they're getting the job with. Once the employer gets that ID, they're then going to enter that and the company information into the system. Then the employer is going to enter the proposed employment and job duties, because the state wants to keep up with how many hours students are working and making sure that there are not any laws broken. Because if you didn't know from before, there are certain hours a minor is allowed to work under the age of 18, and outside of summers and holidays during the school year, there's only certain hours of the day that they're allowed to work, because it is not allowed to interfere with school hours. So if there ever comes a point when a student is supposed to test or be at school, saying that they have to work is not an excuse, and that employer could actually get in trouble for trying to have students work during the school hours, because school comes first to the state. So once they enter that information and the job duties, then an email is going to be sent to your child electronically to sign the certificate electronically. And then your child is also going to need to enter a parent or guardian email address. Once they do that, it is going to send the parent or guardian an email to review. So you'll get to review the employer job duties and proposed employment information. And so you are signing off that you agree with this. And then once you sign off on it, it will then send another email to the employer. And then the employer will sign and print the certificate. And once that happens and all three parties have signed, then the student is officially able to start working. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then moving on to the actual website. So here's the website, and I will make sure to link this with the video, but there is the new process that I just went over. So when you get to this site, it kind of breaks that down again. So step one is for, again, your child to click right here on step one, so apply for the certificate. And we'll look at that in just a second. You'll fill out all your information like we talked about before. So when you click on that link, it's going to take you here. You'll put your personal information, contact information, and once you do all that, you'll get that ID that we talked about. Once you get the ID, then you will share that information with who you are trying to work for, which is your employer. And then the employer will come here and complete step 2, which is entering their work employer information and your ID that you provided them with. And then once they do that, they enter your job information. Again, they send that email to your child or you as a student, and then you will send your information to your parent guardian, that email address that we were talking about, and that's how that goes. And so from now on, anytime you apply for a job and you get the job, you would then provide your new employer with this ID, and they would do this process all over again for each job that you do. And that is all that I have for today. But one last thing that I did want to talk with everyone about is just that I do have some businesses out in the community that have reached out to me and are interested in receiving some part-time workers. Some of them do have age restrictions of being 18 and older just because of serving alcohol and things like that. But we do have some that are for 16 and over, and then other jobs who you could potentially get at being 15. So I will share that information with you in a later email. So just be on the lookout for that. And hopefully, if you are looking for a job, you can get one this summer, because I know just about everywhere I go has a sign up in the window saying that they're looking for help. So if you need any help, I will be working this week and next week, and I think there's a few days in June that I will be working. So if you would like any help or assistance with filling out an application, feel free to reach out to me. And if I miss you over the summer, once I return back in August, then I will make sure to reach out to see if there's anything that I can help you with. But have a great summer, and I look forward to talking with you all next year.